All right, welcome back to Vocab Set 4. This is part 2, and we're going to go ahead and continue. Let's go ahead and start with. Now, planned obsolescence is a corporation or industry strategy to design products to fail within a short period of time. The industry may choose to convince consumers their products need replacing, even though they are functioning and performing well. But a newer upgrade is always available. So what types of planned obsolescence have you already experienced? Relate this to what was once considered a durable is now downgraded to a consumable. And then what repercussions could planned obsolescence have on our environment? If you're throwing your stuff away just because it's obsolete, as it's not new anymore, where are you throwing it away to? It's going into the landfills. It's going to the dumps. I mean, that's a huge environmental problem. And think of all the plastic we're throwing away. There's the Pacific garbage patch alone is just horrid. What is happening? This is obsolete. This is old. Toss it. And so we're ending up in a huge problem by this thing called planned obsolescence. Was my truck planned obsolescence? Well, technically, yeah. They're not wanting to make parts for anymore. They don't want to keep my truck on the road. They want me to buy a new truck. They want me to put more money into a new truck. I was just looking at brand new trucks on the lot, and a small pickup truck that I was looking at, I think it was a Chevy Colorado, was going for $40,000. A 2021 pickup, $40,000, smaller than my truck, gets better gas mileage than my truck, but $40,000? I can't afford that. I'd be in payments for years. So it's just like some of this planned obsolescence is pricing people out, and they're going to the obsolete stuff because they can afford that. So I wonder if you guys are being tricked into getting rid of stuff that you have that is still good and functioning for something that's newer. There's one company that I know that does it. It seems like they always come out with a brand new one, a brand new design. In fact, I'm seeing advertisements all over the internet for it now. I'll bet you know what I'm talking about. I bet you know what I'm talking about. There's your hint there. Let's talk about the next one, opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the most desirable alternative given up as a result of a decision. So when you weigh an opportunity cost, is like you're basically looking and go, hey, how much is this going to cost me? What's the value? Do I really want to make this purchase? And that is where you guys are weighing the opportunity cost. Do I want to buy it? Do I not want to buy it? Do I want to take my hard-earned money and put it into this, or do I not? So that's the opportunity cost. So my question is, what are you debating right now to purchase with your money currently? And saving your money could count as an opportunity cost. So what are you debating to do right now? What's going on there? Because that you're weighing an opportunity cost right now for something. I wonder what you're thinking about buying. I was weighing an opportunity cost on a computer. I was thinking about buying a new computer, and I decided to buy the school's teacher's old computer. My old computer, I bought that instead of buying a new one. I know. Crazy, huh? Benefit. Now, benefit is gained, is the gain received from a voluntary exchange. So you benefit from the purchase. So I benefit from buying a cheaper computer. I get to save money. So if I can save money, that's good. I can put my money in other things. So that's benefits that I'm weighing. What are some benefits that you weigh in buying something new? If you're going to buy a product, then you want it to last. Is it a durable? Is that what you're looking for as far as a benefit? Or are you looking for the convincing that it's going to up your street cred or your popularity? So list some benefits of your favorite item that you actually own. I love my tractor. I have a tractor that I love. The benefits, oh my goodness, there's too many to list. All right, buyer's remorse is a regret a buyer may feel, especially after making a major purchase. The buyer may feel like he or she was pressured, spent too much, and or purchased an inferior product. Have you ever had buyer remorse? I know I have. Buyer remorse is you buy a product, you expect it to last, and it breaks. Buyer remorse is you are working with something and it dies shortly after. Or it just isn't as good as it advertised it to be. That's buyer's remorse. So What are some things that you have buyer's remorse for? All right, next, a copyright. Or copyright is a government document that grants an author exclusive rights to publish and sell their creative work. So if you write a book, you can copyright it, and therefore it is your work. It is yours. If you make a film or a documentary, you can copyright it. It's your work. So copyright is really important. And I've thought about, should I copyright these videos I'm making for you guys? But I cannot copyright a video in which I borrow another video and use it that is copyrighted. But it's interesting about the Fair Use Act. The Fair Use Act says I can use things for educational purposes, I can use it for parody, and I can use it for a news source. Everything I'm using in this video is to help teach you. I'm helping demonstrate how this economic system works. But the pressure that is being put on the government and on YouTube is great because, and I mean not great as in good, but great as in like great pressure to limit the fair use. So it's kind of sad where things are going, but with fair use, I mean, if you use it for educational purposes, I could do a lot if that door stays open. I mean, I could use a lot. Life is an educational situation. I mean, I could take any movie and I could use it to some extent. I mean, the perfect quote.
I don't think you like the fact that I beat your test.
Furthermore, you have failed to divine the purpose of the test.
Enlighten me again.
The perfect drama. I could really put some bells and whistles in this documentary that I'm doing, this video. So my question to you guys is, do you think that this video that I'm doing right now has been flagged for copyright infringement? And which videos have I already produced for this class that have been flagged for copyright infringement by YouTube? I've had couple videos that have already been flagged by YouTube. I wonder if you can figure out which ones it is. So copyright. A patent is the next one. A patent is a little bit different than a copyright. It is an invention that gives license to that inventor of a new product the exclusive rights to sell for a specific period of time. So a patent is not a copyright. It's more like you can design the blueprints of something. You create something. You create your prototype. If it's brand new and original and no one else has made it, you can put a patent on it and then it's yours. And then any company that makes your invention, you get a percentage of that. They can't just steal your ideas. I believe it was, years ago, Samsung made a cell phone and they mimicked, I think, the iPhone almost perfectly. They reverse engineered it and they mimicked the entire look of it. And it was the screen, like the oval rectangle on the screen. And because Samsung did not pay for a percentage of their sales to that patent, Apple sued them and they won over that patent. So that's some just things that happen with patents. So I'm kind of curious. Name one patent you wish was not patented and free to purchase at a fair price. Well, I will name one, and that is the Stanley Myers water car. He was patenting it. He had the information on it, and he mysteriously died from food poisoning. I think at the Cracker Barrel, which, okay, maybe that's not so surprising, but he died from food poisoning. At least that's what they said. Maybe it was a heart attack. Very mysterious how he died. But all his inventions, gone. I would love to have a patent or to see his patent to actually rebuild or reconstruct his water-powered car. It's disappeared. There was a show that came out, many, many years ago. And these guys found this car that ran on water. This guy invented this water car. And it was all fictional story, but fiction based on conspiracy theory or even some conspiracy fact. And very interesting, the dialogue on it. I'll see if I can dig it up and put it into this this presentation so you guys can see that. But
he knew the world shouldn't have this.
Why on earth shouldn't there be a cheap, pollution-free alternative to gasoline?
Think what it would do for the global economy. Send it through the roof, lead to a huge development boom throughout the world. It'd mean more people driving cars, more people building more places to go in those cars. More people, more consumption, more trees cut down, more roads laid in. What do you pave roads with, by the way? Oil. The same oil you use to lubricate a water-powered car. And we'd have 400 million cars on the road instead of 200 million. Doesn't sound like utopia to me.
That is one patent I would love. I would love to be able to drive my car on water. I mean, just cool stuff. All right, nonprofit organization. Now, this is an institution that functions like a business, but does not operate for the purpose of general profit. Now, nonprofit organizations are really intriguing to me because they cannot make a profit. They have to spend what they bring in. So they usually bring in money through donation or sales of an item to give to the funding or functioning of the nonprofit to help a certain group of people, or to or even help the environment. It could be anything that is doing so for the general good of everybody in some shape or fashion. So I remember there was a few years back, and I talk about this, I believe, in psychology class because it was a wonderful example of propaganda. But it was Coney 2012, I think it was. And one of the fastest growing videos on YouTube, just took off like crazy. But it was a nonprofit organization to basically prevent children from being recruited as children soldiers in Africa. They're supposed to help the people. They're supposed to help. You're not supposed to be making a money off of a nonprofit like that. So here's a discussion topic. I would like you guys to research the pay between the CEO, the person who runs the Salvation Army, and the Goodwill stores. So those Salvation Army stores and the Goodwill stores, they're both nonprofits. And I would like you guys to compare how much does the person who is the highest person in Goodwill make compared to the highest paid person in the Salvation Army. And I think you'll be very surprised. And then you might want to say, who am I going to give my donations to? Because what you do is you give all your old stuff, your obsolete stuff, to Salvation Army or Goodwill, and you can get a tax write-off, okay, because you're giving it to a nonprofit. Well, that nonprofit will take your stuff and then sell it to the public, and they take that money to help pay for their services to help people. Look that up. I think you'll be amazed. Okay, next. Let's talk about a monopoly. And this is not just the game, but the game is based off of the view of a monopoly. You're trying to get a monopoly in the game of Monopoly. And I actually play this game in Great Depression class, which is fun. It is a market in which a single seller or a group of sellers dominate the supply and price of a product. So they're controlling the entire product and price. So they're the only ones that sell it, and therefore they can control the price of it. The example I'm going to use is the Dare Prim monopoly, and the CEO, Martin Shkreli, who basically, it was basically Dare Prim was an infection-fighting drug, and it went from $13.50 per tablet, so $13.50 per tablet, to $750 per tablet. So one tablet of Dare Prim went from $13.50 to $750 per tablet. And that's because Martin Shkreli jumped the price because he knew that it could help people and save lives. And so, hey, how much is your life worth? If your life's worth, I'm sure it's $13.50. I mean, we need to market, and we use this money for research and all that stuff. So just the story behind that. But anyway, that would be a monopoly. And he was investigated by the Federal Trade Commission, which is the FTC, and they looked into the Dare Prim monopoly. So I believe Martin Shkreli is still in jail, but he did ask to get let out to help with developing the COVID vaccine. Could you imagine what that vaccine would cost if he was in charge of it? Anyway, monopoly. Now, I do have a question here. What does this famous quote by oil robber baron John D. Rockefeller mean? Competition is a sin. And that's a discussion topic. This is one of the things I talk about in my alternative history when I look at the creation of this modern nation from the robber barons. But it's really interesting that competition is a sin. Have you ever heard that, we don't compete here? We need to be all, we shouldn't compete at all. Competition can hurt the self-esteem. Have you guys heard that? If you've heard anything like that, it comes from this guy. This guy has influenced the thinking process of the group that's promoting that. It's really interesting. But competition is good for the consumer, and usually it is good for the self-esteem of people when they succeed. And usually competition gets people to energize to do more. However, our society seems to be changing. I'm not sure what's up with that. But anyway, let's look at the next word, which is oligopoly. An oligopoly is a particular market is controlled by a small group of firms and corporations. It is much like a monopoly, but there are at least two corporations controlling the market or more. So you can actually have a cartel or a group controlling a system. You can actually get a lot of wealthy people together. Like, let's say, for example, you get telecommunications, you get, let's say, the banks, and let's say you get the power grid, and they all come together. They could form an oligopoly and affect policy to benefit their corporations. So that would be an oligopoly in some way. My question to you is, how are oligopolies just as bad as monopolies? How do oligopolies have more of a voice in government than a citizen or citizens in government? Who are oligopolies responsible to? The common person or their group's continued power? And then my question is, because this is the new group on the market, or they've been around for a while, but they're the new one that's pushing this whole great reset the table, all these things, like the dark winter, reset employment, reset jobs, or job reset. I've heard all these terms in this reset. I've also heard the term lockstep. And this group is promoting these buzzwords that keep getting repeated by the media. And they're called the World Economic Forum. They go by the WEF. You can even look up their YouTube channel on the Great Reset. My question is, who is the World Economic Forum, and to whom are they responsible for this whole reset business? So,
every time I read the newspaper, I see evidence of this historic transition from Type 0 to Type 1. And I am privileged to be alive in the most important era in the history of the human race, the transition from Type 0 to Type 1. Some people don't want it. They fear this transition because this transition is to a planetary civilization tolerant of many cultures. These are the terrorists. In their gut, they fear this because they know they are witnessing the birth pangs of the beginning of a new planetary civilization, and the terrorists want nothing to do with it. This transition is also the most important because it's not clear if we're going to make it. When we look at outer space, we see no evidence of Type 1, 2, or 3 anywhere. No evidence whatsoever. The mathematics say that there should be thousands of Type 1, 2, and 3 civilizations in the galaxy. We see no evidence of any whatsoever. And why is that? Because the transition from Type 0 to Type 1 is the most dangerous of all transitions.
That's the oligopoly that I know that's functioning today. That is very live and well and working behind the scenes. So it's very intriguing. Non-price competition is a way to attract customers through style, services, or location, but not at a lower price. Now, my question to you guys is, what competing corporations use non-price competition? What are some things or businesses that you buy something and you could go to the exact opposite company that's selling the exact same thing or pretty close to it, and they'll say, it'll be the exact price, but one offers a different color. Or one offers, let's say, more data or more unlimited fees. We just got done looking at credit cards. Credit cards are operating in a non-price competition. They're all the same. I mean, some have lower interest rates, but most of the interest rates that you guys quoted in class are the same. I mean, they're barely different, maybe 1% or 2% at the most. All of them have the same introductory rate, 0% for like 16 months or 18 months. That's non-price competition. You're looking at, it's unless of course you get the fee card. You get the black card. Only certain people have that. So that would be a prestige thing. That's a non-price competition. And then perfect competition is a market structure in which a large number of firms, once again, firms coming together, offer the same products and no single seller controls supply or price. So all these people come together, they make a product, or they're agreeing to sell their products at the same price. So they're not going to raise or lower the price. To whom is perfect competition perfect? Definition. Perfect competition is a market structure in which a large number of firms offer the same products and no single seller controls supply or price. How's that perfect? That's the discussion. As we come to the very end here, who is this Adam Smith guy? Well, he wrote this, one of the longest titles of a book. It is called An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. Wealth of Nations is what we call the book for short. It was the foundation of economic thought and since its publication in 1776. You like that year? Do you even know what happened in 1776? Something really big happened in 1776. And this thing is still being used today. It is the Bible of economic thought. People go to this to consult what they're doing as far as how they're running their business. I mean, the Adam Smith Wealth of Nations is like, this is the laissez-faire comes from this. This is where competition comes from. This is where socialism and all that discussion comes from. It's a interesting, very dry read. Next to War and Peace, if you have an insomnia situation, read An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. Just the title alone should give you a feel on the sentence structure that's going to happen in that book. But my question is, why is this guy so important today to economics? What makes him very, very important? And then my last slide is just a brief works cited of things that I consulted during this. And I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you enjoyed these notes. And we will see each other soon, I hope. Take care. Stay safe.